Ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of people moving to different states. And when they make this move, they are working from home. So Americans are moving to Texas, Florida, and Alabama as more work from home, is, due to the pandemic. That's why so many people are working from home. So some do it for the cost of living, of course. There's a lot of states where the cost of living is just so high. And, it's just like a lot of New Yorkers, and I've done stories on New Yorkers flocking down to Florida to live because of the cost of living. And others do it for comfort, to be close to loved ones, or for a new job. Whatever the reason, Americans are still on the move in 2021. And the first full year they lived during the pandemic, several reports show that 26.5 million people moved from one home in the US to another between March 2020 and March 2021, about 800,000 fewer moves than in the same time span between 2019 and 2020, based on the current data available from the Census Bureau. Many of them migrated to the South, according to studies conducted by the National Moving and Housing Experts. So it's saying that most Americans headed south, with South Carolina, West Virginia, Florida, Alabama, and Tennessee among the most popular destinations, according to a recent study by United Van Lines, which is probably a big corporate moving service. And also, North American Van Lines reported similar findings, but included Arizona near the top of its list. However, Vermont, followed by South Dakota, were the most popular states to move to, according to United Van Lines' annual National Movers Study. United Van Lines' study found that 32% of those who moved wanted to be closer to family or relocate for a new job or job transfer. Being closer to family represents a new trend coming out of the pandemic. We're not out of no damn pandemic. They crack me up the way they write some of these stories. And lifestyle choice shift, the study said. Meanwhile, the number of Americans who moved for a new job or job transfer marked a significant decrease from 2015, when more than 60% cited a job or transfer as a reason to relocate. North American Van Lines reported an estimated 20% more Americans moved in 2021 compared to 2020 because of new remote work opportunities that enabled uh, 14 to 23 million Americans to relocate. In addition to wanting to leave high density areas to avoid, the pandemic, many Americans are moving due to the transformation of how we're able to work, with more flexibility to work remotely. All right. And a recent data forest by Sequoia survey of 423 leaders of mainly California based tech companies found that more than half will allow their employees to permanently relocate to a new state, and those businesses didn't plan to adjust salaries to reflect differences in the cost of living or the labor market. Since many, especially tech companies, will allow their employees to work remotely even after the end of the pandemic, we see many people moving away from San Francisco and other big and expensive areas. For instance, the San Francisco Bay Area, there are 500 homes currently for sale that a household earning 100,000 to 125,000 can afford to buy, compared with the number of households that earn that income. There is one affordable listing for every 310 households. However, there is one affordable listing for every 134 households, and in that income range. And that's in Austin, according to the article. The study shows more Americans migrating to the South are also consistent with data compiled by the NAR. Data shows that most areas that experienced migration gains in 2021 were located in the Sunbelt region: Florida, Arizona, Texas, South Carolina, North Carolina. Many packed up to move and relocate to another community in the same state. Inbound moves within Florida exceeded outbound moves, 34% on average. In Texas, inbound move topped at 31%, and inbound moves beat out outbound moves, which is on the average of 23%. In Arizona, 28%. In South Carolina, 25%. In North Carolina, also 25%. The Sunbelt states are more affordable and generally have lower tax burden and a strong job growth. Okay. Another reason Americans could be on the move is that millions were, they claim got jabbed. And that is compared to 2020, when a number of Americans panic moved, meaning they relocated out of fear and being isolated in quarantine, far from family and friends. Americans also sought new communities because of retirement, a desire for a different lifestyle and cost of living, the United Van Line study said. However, there are still a lot of Americans who can't afford to move because of the rising cost of mortgages, rent, and ongoing pandemic. There's an assumption that most Americans have figured it all out, but that's totally not the case. And they're saying Americans have moved a lot actually during the pandemic. There is stuff we see in the data, and there is a lot of what we don't see in terms of challenges faced by many households across the country. So, ladies and gentlemen, it look like the biggest part of the country that is getting an influx of people is in the South. And I mean, it was kind of like that before the pandemic, but it seems like it has definitely stepped up. With the inflation, I can understand why people would want to go to a state where the cost of living is a lot cheaper. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.